Bruce Dickinson finally did it!
Check out the jacket, man!
Remember 2 years ago when Iron Maiden just announced their Future Past tour? One of the most discussed topics, in addition to the setlist of course, was whether it will mark the return of the insane outfits the band has worn on the original Somewhere on Tour. With the main question being whether we will get to see the return of Bruce Dickinson's legendary space jacket. You know what? This week it finally happened! So apparently Bruce Dickinson just found his 40-year-old jacket in some magical Iron Maiden warehouse a day before the band's show in New Jersey and decided to wear it for that one night only. So yeah, the chances you're going to see it once again are pretty close to zero.
Why, God, why?
But first of all, now we all know that Iron Maiden apparently have some magical warehouse, either in Pennsylvania, for that where the band's previous show was, or somewhere in New Jersey. So can you imagine just how many incredible pieces of memorabilia are buried in there? And who knows, maybe Iron Maiden will dig out some of them for next year's Run For Your Lives tour. But the interesting thing here is that many Iron Maiden nerds, like myself, of course, for some weird reason, did think that the original space jacket from Somewhere on Tour Bruce Dickinson has worn back in 1986 was actually on display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. And at least as of May 2024, it actually was there. So yeah, I guess this news can mean only two things. First, there were multiple space jackets made for the 1986 tour, or because of the mutual dislike between Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Iron Maiden, the band actually has taken it away from the museum sometime in the last couple of months.
I actually think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is an utter complete load of bollocks. Who wouldn't know rock and roll if it hit them in the face? They need to stop taking Prozac and start drinking fucking beer.
But anyways, going back to the original 1986 outfit. Iron Maiden's Somewhere on Tour era was loud in every way possible, and Bruce Dickinson's outfit was the pinnacle of it, with the jacket being the cherry on top. The technical side of this costume was almost as intense as the design itself. The glowing heart required a 6-volt lead-acid battery and around 30 pounds of copper wire. And according to Dickinson, the battery struggled, barely making it through half a song before the heart's doom-doom beat slowed to a flicker. Every freaking night. So yeah, there was a very low chance that today, 36 years later, Iron Maiden would be able to make that jacket work once again, even if only for just one night.
Don't be afraid, you're safe with me. Safe than it so could be.
And interestingly enough, that jacket was somewhat of a culmination of that tour's production overall. As Maiden themselves said, everything about Somewhere on Tour was loud, though not everything was perfect. The grandiose inflatable stage props were so massive that more often than not, they simply didn't fit the venues Iron Maiden were playing. And the amount of times those inflatables did not work as intended was rather disappointing for Steve Harris and the boys.
As it was inflatable, we burnt a hole in it, so consequently it was like, you know. The next gig we did, they patched it up, so it came up like that, but it came tied up.
Like that. You know, and all of a sudden there'd be roadies frantically coming out and going...
And this jacket, beloved by so many fans, is somewhat of a symbol of it all, which, although awesome and loved by many, was so heavy that it did not permit Bruce Dickinson to freely move around the stage with it. And because, as if on purpose given the tour's title, Iron Maiden were trying to achieve something which technology wasn't really ready for back in 1986 yet, it didn't work as intended quite often, just as some other stage effects.
It's just outrageous.
And overall, while Iron Maiden stage clothes were always rather memorable back in the 1980s, there was something unique and especially flashy about 1986 tour. Underneath the jacket, Bruce Dickinson went full in Sci-Fi Spinal Tap, with a twist of Errol Flynn's show-buckling flair. And this iconic piece wasn't just a jacket, it was a full experience. The outfit included Space Hunter trousers, imagined as something crafted from the hides of alien toads collected by a space cowboy in a forbidden zone. And talking about it years later, Dave Murray said, "You had to wear sunglasses quite a lot because of the sheer volume." Actually, there was a lot of volume coming just from the clothing. And you know what? Some may think that it was just the demands of time, but in reality, not everyone could pull it off. And when the first ideas for the stage clothes for the 1986 tour came to them, Steve Harris actually did not think that they could pull it off. But in the end, Bruce did. And even though we all of course know that sadly this tour has not really been recorded properly by the band, to this very day the 1986 Somewhere on Tour stage clothes remain to be some of the most iconic ones and some of the most beloved ones by all the Iron Maiden fans, especially this jacket. And so yeah, of course I'm not surprised that today, 36 years later, they were not able to make this jacket work once again. But seeing it at the same time just reminded me how awesome it would have been if Iron Maiden would have brought a reimagined version of it on the road this time. Especially since it would be very easy to do so with modern LED lights, and it would still be as lightweight as Bilbo Baggins's mithril coat.
As light as a feather, and as hard as dragon scales.
And yeah, overall, although of course Somewhere in Time was very ignored by the band back in the 1980s and remains so up until last year, this just once again shows how much lore there is around it and how many opportunities there are to present it in a very different light. And I actually do hope that next year on their Run For Your Lives World Tour, which as we all know will concentrate on the band's golden era, including the Somewhere in Time album once again, they will A, perform some of the songs which they did not get to play back in the 1980s or during this Future Past run, and B, you know what, bring back some of the quirky elements which we all love this album for. And overall, while this tour is coming to an end, I have to say that although I'm really excited for the band's upcoming Run For Your Lives tour, I'm somewhat saddened that the Future Past tour is ending, as this was the tour for all of the diehard fans. This was the tour for all of us Iron Maiden geeks who were furious about the whole fact that Somewhere on Tour was not recorded back in the 1980s, and for all those boys and girls who were imagining what it would be like to finally hear our favorite songs live. So yeah, it kind of brings some bittersweet feelings to me. But at the same time, the whole fact that Iron Maiden were just able to find this legendary jacket, which means so much for so many Iron Maiden fans, means that either they did actually invent a time machine and it actually works, or that there are still so many other incredible things hidden in the vaults and dungeons of Iron Maiden that this band still has quite a bunch of cards up their sleeves to surprise us all in the upcoming years. But anyways, do you guys think that I should make a special episode about Somewhere on Tour, and now that the Future Past tour is almost over, compare the 1986 run to the 2023-2024 runs in one of the upcoming episodes on our Up the Irons series? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this very short and spontaneous video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!